Unleash the power of your training. Welcome to Trends in Learning and Development. Here are your hosts, Desiree Lackey and Mike Ziegler.
Welcome everybody. As Mike mentioned, I am going to start off with one of the trends that I see really becoming a topic of discussion is augmented reality and virtual reality. So what is virtual reality? Virtual reality, or also known as VR, and augmented reality, which is also known as AR, may sound the same, but they are different. Augmented reality changes our perception of the real world, and virtual reality transports you to an entirely different world. Virtual reality is basically technology used to create a simulated environment where users interact with 3D. VR also allows someone to virtually walk in someone else's shoes. For now, a person wears a type of glasses that are used to shut off the outside world, and then the technology engages with your human senses and provides touch or haptic feedback to immerse you in a type of artificial environment. And I say for now because to wear the glasses is because they are trying to find other ways or experimenting in other ways for us to experience virtual reality. When people think about VR or virtual reality, they oftentimes think about video games, but it's beginning to take off in numerous industries. The military, for one, has been using VR to train soldiers for years, most notably to simulate battle. They use it for training soldiers to jump out of airplanes. They use it to fly fighter jets and simulate weapon systems. Believe it or not, they even do medical procedures with it. PTSD recovery therapy, and they're now even beginning to use it more and more for boot camp or basic training. Two notable companies that use VR, Volvo and Walmart. Volvo allows you as the consumer to take a car out for a test drive without ever getting in the car. And Walmart uses VR to train managers how to work in a stress-free environment. And then check this out. In Sweden, McDonald's has turned Happy Meal boxes into cardboard VR headsets. They call them the VR headset Happy Goggles. Through virtual reality, the users can enjoy interactive and immersive games such as a skiing activity. It's pretty cool. When developing VR, there are four fundamental areas: the hardware, the design and prototype tools, game engines, and then platforms and software development kits, which are otherwise known as SDKs. And then to develop virtual reality, you need performance hardware that can run advanced graphics and a VR device. So some of the best known are like the Oculus Rift or the Quest. Oculus is actually a leader currently in VR devices. And then the Oculus Rift is a tetherless headset that utilizes hand tracking. You also need design and prototype tools. Some of the best known are VR Sketch, Unity, Unreal, and ZapWorks Studio, or Zappar. So let's move on to artificial reality. This one is my favorite. It's also known as AR. AR gives you the ability to create digital content, which is overlaid on a static image or an object that you can basically see through with a smartphone or a tablet. To experience an AR experience, you point your phone camera at a trigger, like a sign or training material, a hotspot, or a QR code. And then it launches objects like a video, a PDF, a 3D model, step-by-step guides, websites, contact information, pretty much limitless. The cool thing about AR is that you don't have to invest in a VR headset, which can really get expensive, because with AR, you can just use your Apple or Android phone device or iPad. Think about this. Most people carry a smartphone with them. And then two of the most notable examples of AR is Snapchat and Pokemon Go. Artificial reality brings new experiences and elevates the learning process. Studies found when using a form of AR in L&D, they saw a drastic spike in retention, emotions, and then memory encoding in users' brains. They also found that by having an AR experience, it can be potentially 70% more effective in retaining information and then utilizing those skills they learned on the job. An example of how AR can be used is by creating informative hotspots that a learner can scan and then acquire additional information. Another way is by using just-in-time training, where an employee may be at a remote side of a building, like maybe in the back of a warehouse, and then they need to seek out information about a product. If there's a scannable code on a piece of equipment, they simply scan that code and they have immediate access to the training material, which could be anything like an instructional video, a diagram, or again, maybe contact information. A few more examples of how AR can be used in training. It can teach employees how to assemble products, can use it to troubleshoot issues, learn how to repair equipment, and to introduce new employees by guiding them through a business or a manufacturing plant or a building. AR experiences are really simple, relatively simple, I should say, to build. There are quite a few options available for the software. There's cloud-based like Zappar. There's standalone game design engines like Unity, which, by the way, can also be used for developing virtual reality. E-learning authoring tools are also available, like Captivate. Adobe Aero, which is currently in beta version right now, and can only be used with iOS systems, but it is free to use. And then hardware, approximately 80% of AR experiences developed are for your mobile phones. So let's talk about it. Are you creating, is anyone here creating AR currently?
John says not yet. Would love to know more about AR examples. We can definitely meet offline and give you some more examples and some different things. We're still investigating it ourselves. Well, let me rephrase that. Desiree is still investigating it deeply herself. Yeah, and we ran across something the other day called Immersion Training, which is basically, that's what VR is, immersion training. But they're running it, instead of running it through the goggles, they're running it just on a computer screen or a phone screen, just like regular, because of some of the issues with VR, with people getting motion sickness or dizzy, or just, can't deal with feeling like they're in a tight space. So but that's just something else. Let's see what else we got here. Lance says not yet. Patricia, not yet, but I could see amazing possibilities. Yes, depending on where you're at, setting up AR could be really neat, even from launching your training, as far as, like just-in-time videos, where if you had 30-second to 1-minute video clips that, could tell somebody how to do something or to do a specific task right there. Sorry for the example, but I'm the technical guy here. So if somebody was laying under a truck with an air brake, if there was a barcode or a QR code on the brake chamber that they were trying to adjust, they could take their phone under there and get a 30-second video on what they need to adjust it. They don't have to get out from under the truck. They don't have to go open and find a manual. So yeah, lots of opportunity. Besides scanning and barcodes, I can talk about VR training and emergence tech, but no experience with AR. Well, Joel, if you want to talk, if you'll just click there you go. And we're going to Welcome, Joel, to the stage, folks.
Hey, yeah, I have a quick question about Tortal and potentially the AR code scanning, and then I can talk about the VR experience that I've had, which has been really great. But for AR, you talked about scanning this barcode and it's shooting you or triggering you to this video. Is there a way that that's still tracked through Tortal in an LMS? Because I assume if it's just in time training, then you're missing that sign on and you're missing that kind of linkage to the employee, right? And we all want to get credit for what we're taking. We all want that to show up on our transcript. So I'm curious to know if that's something maybe in the works or how that would be implemented in the future potentially.
I know we have talked about it, and I know Josh, you're on the call. There might be something better you could answer, but anything that we can link it through the LMS. We have, especially our LMS, we have our own authoring tool where you could put videos and link directly to them. There would still probably have to be a login or verification process.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's just getting that kind
Right.
of connection piece in there.
But through and would we need an app or I'm not sure.
Yeah,
but it's simple. Even like if the link takes them to the LMS, it's taking them to a course.
Yep.
We can pop up a login screen where they enter their information and get it, and then you can track it.
Yeah, Mike, I think your app is probably the best example because to me, you would pull up the app and the app would have your credentials already in there, right? We do it all the time with like Instagram and Facebook.
Right.
So then that's the connection there. So that makes sense. Absolutely. And then as far as for VR training, we have some really good with Success Academy and the trades that we do the training for 1 hour Mr. Sporky Benjamin Franklin. We had the gap for training of when technicians are going to homes, how can they competently and confidently diagnose different HVAC systems and plumbing systems. And with that, it's something where it's very hands-on, it's very technical based, and we partner with a great company called Interplay, and they create the VR training for us. But it is amazing. It's amazing. They put on the headset and they do all these different things and they're making choices, and it's just this awesome learning experience. And like you were saying earlier about that emerging technology or kind of that immersive experience, they're able to do this training and they can have 5 guys watching them from a monitor and they can see exactly what that person is seeing. And then there's also an option where, you don't have to have the headset on because if it makes you nauseous, that's always that could potentially be a thing. So you can go through and you can do the exact same thing with just your mouse and your keypad. And that's pretty cool too. I also would say that especially our younger technicians, they're really enjoying it. And I can also say that I'm looking at the data trends right now, and it's really decreasing our callbacks. So those who are in the trade services, they know callbacks is probably one of your biggest costs. And so it's really helping out. And so I would just say to everyone in a relatively similar position to me, VR it's very trendy right now, but there's definitely some really good benefits for it. And that's definitely you can definitely leverage it in our business of training for sure.
Now, how are y'all tracking your VR as far as, is it coming out SCORM compatible? Are you being able to track it in the LMS?
So we're using the partner that we chose, Interplay. They have a separate LMS. So they're going into there and they're completing the training there. And what happens is they spit back information to us into this dashboard where we can go and we can see what's going on and what they've completed, what passes, what things that they failed, and the progress of their learning paths. And then after that, we haven't really leveraged this to the full potential yet, but Tortal has these options for external credits, right? So I could go in there and I could say, hey, Billy Bob has all these things completed. I'm going to go into Tortal now and I can input those as I see. So that also works well. And then I also know, I don't want to keep talking, but because I know this is your time to shine, but Tortal also can, do CVS files of getting that credit in there. And yeah, you guys are great for sure. So.
Well, again, this is y'all's time too. And we're just like you guys. We are lifelong learners. Anything that we can pick up along the way. Again, we, yes, we're training leaders, we're training experts, but that just means we're still learning too, just like you guys. So again, we love to hear from you, see what you're doing. Joel, I'll probably ping you a little bit later just to pick your brain.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see how the AR kind of blows up, because I can see that being really good and really nifty. I mean, even with like different conferences and conventions, I've seen more and more people using it. I just haven't seen it leverage in training besides for like a barcode scanning. So I'd be
Right.
interested to see what else can be done with that.
I've seen some where instead of barcodes, you actually take a picture and it can pick out like the spark plug in an engine.
Yeah.
And then, or give you labels. So I've seen some different stuff. Right now the barcode is probably the heaviest use, or where it's being used the most, or the QR code.
Yeah.
We get a lot of people are getting interested in AR because it can be used even in like doctor's offices for, where to put stuff and storage and, different things. But the VR, that's been a little slower. I think a couple reasons. One, the cost. Two, the equipment, which is also cost, but upkeep and maintenance. And the other is the fact of there's still a lot of people, like I said, the problem. Some people just can't do VR with a headset.
So just for those in the training space, when we talk about cost, and this is a conversation that I have not constantly, but very frequently. When you talk about callbacks, that could be anywhere between $200 to, let's say, just $200 for one callback. These VR programs, these VR systems, headsets, they're down to the price of like probably between 200 and maybe, I would say, less than 400 for sure. But let's say your average is 4 callbacks a month. If you're getting these systems in there and you're getting your technicians trained, then in the long run, you're saving yourself some money there. And you're also creating more confident and more competent technicians. So, it does come at a cost, but it's a really good return on investment at the same time. And you guys, sometimes you have to spend money to make money, to be quite honest with you. So
we hear that.
I hate to say that because it might come back and bite me later on, but it's true though. It's true. Sometimes you have to spend money to make money.
Well, that's it, and that's something we debate with every day. Is customers come in and we need training. Well, what kind of training do you need? And they immediately start throwing out, well, we want e-learning, we want this, we want that, and it's like, well, let's focus on the problem and what we're trying to achieve. And as we go through our correct questions and go through our process, the media may automatically show itself that we need to use. Because again, the whole trick of learning is to make it sticky. How much do you want them to remember when they're done? Some parts they might not remember, but a little bit. But in this, we need them to remember a whole lot. So let's make it maybe a little shorter and make it more engaging, or even to a point immersive. Yeah. So it becomes sticky. And, again, I think that's something we have to all think about as we move forward.
Yeah, absolutely. Another good way, or another thing I like to talk about when we talk about VR training, we've all played a game before, right? Like I have like this vivid memory of like playing Mario Kart, and I knew like on a certain level, I can't turn a certain way because every time I do it, you lose the game. And it's funny right now, but I can vividly remember I can't do this because that means it's wrong. Same thing for a technician. If a technician's going and is not flipping the right flip, not doing the right thing, it's wrong. And they learn that in this VR system, in this VR training programs, and it sticks. It sticks so much more easily and better that way. So it's just, we laugh and we kind of go like, oh, it's just playing the game. But this game actually teaches you more of your real life kind of things versus just being a cartoon or whatever. So it goes a long way for sure.
Exactly. And again, it's like I said, training ain't just throw, you can't throw, sometimes a glorified PowerPoint's perfect. Sometimes it's not. And again, it's, what is your goal? What do you want the learner to learn? How much do you, what is the retainability rate you need to achieve? Because, if they're doing brain surgery, I would want them to have immersive training and be pretty smart and retain quite a bit of it myself. If they're putting a hubcap on a wheel, if they forget a step or two, I'm probably okay with that. So again, it just depends on where you want to go. you seen AR used in retail environment for training? Yes, I have. From proper stocking to just different things. I mean, basically think about it. Anywhere that you have something that somebody, they see it, maybe it's a mess. There's a QR code, they can scan it. It can tell them what's supposed to be there, or how it's supposed to be there, or how to stack it. From a sales counters to think about like a job aid. Instead of how many times you've been to a counter where you're sitting there and there's 50 job aids or sticky notes taped everywhere. So, and you ask them a question, I'm like, well, hold on, that's right here. You could have QR codes. It's much more professional and cleaner. Where, yeah, it's a job aid, but that's training. So, I mean, when it comes to using AR, you think about it from every aspect. It's from job aids to cleaning techniques to stocking techniques to sales. Maybe they can scan a phone and it gives you all the information they need as a sales tool. Yes, it's training them, but it's also allowing a salesperson to be more up to speed when you go somewhere and there's 400 products there. There's no way you can be an expert on them all. So instead of trying to make somebody learn it all and remember it all, again, make your training sticky. Make it available where they can get it when they need it to present it how they need to present it.